The Wiz shake up the roster. Come on down, Marvin Bagley III. You are the newest member of the Washington Wizards. He shipped over here from the Pistons. Talk about how that deal went down, how it impacts both teams going forward.
You know, for Detroit, obviously they need a little bit of veteran leadership. So getting a guy like Gallo and Mike Muscala, who I thought were terrific here during their time in terms of trying to help navigate these young players through these choppy waters that is the NBA, I think they're getting some veteran leadership. I think what the Wizards are getting are some athletic guys, and especially for Marvin Bagley III. You guys remember when Maryland was in the ACC, you got to see Bagley, and the one thing that I just took away from him coming out of high school was the guy had some spring in his step. I loved his second jump as a rebounder, and there's three things I think he brings to the team right away. One is his energy. Two is his shot making, and maybe the most important thing he brings to this team is rebounding. I mean, he's a career 7-rebound guy, and that has been really the most difficult part of this season for Washington in terms of what they look like every night is getting just beat on the backboards. And I think he's just going to be able to help right away in that department. Daniel Gafford won't play tonight. He's dealing with a concussion protocol. So I would expect Bagley to get some significant minutes tonight against the Knicks.
So, Chris, the Wiz also secure, and I'm sure this is important for Will Dawkins and the front office, 2 future second-round picks in the deal. We know what this season and next season are going to be about. It's about stockpiling picks and acquiring draft capital, and they do that also in the Bagley deal.
Yeah, they do, and I think that's a great point that you brought up about what the future looks like. Oklahoma City was in town a couple of weeks ago, and I even said it during the broadcast. I say, Wizards fans, if you want to see what this looks like down the road, look at what Oklahoma City looks like. And Will Dawkins he figured prominently in a lot of those decisions that were made there. And now he's in D.C., and I'm sure he has the same type of philosophy of stockpiling picks, being able to make every decision on the table as opposed to being kind of hamstrung with one decision, but to have multiple picks, having cap space, having all these triggers that you need to make our championship caliber team. I think he has all of that at his disposal. So I think those 2 second-round picks, albeit, people say, oh, well, they're just second-round picks. Well, it's amazing what you can do with second-round picks today in the NBA, how you can flip players, and those were, I think, key assets also to make that deal work.
Where are we with the development of Coulibaly? He kind of surprised me early on. Just maybe it could be a little bit more of a contributor. He's playing a lot of minutes still. Seems like he's kind of had a down January if you just look at kind of like shooting percentages and those kinds of things. But where are we in his development?
Yeah, good point with the shooting percentages. But I am absolutely in love with this kid.
Okay.
I mean, everything about him reeks of winner. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So when you're a rookie in the NBA, listen, your eyes are wide open, right? This is the first time you're playing at the highest level of basketball. I've never gotten one sense being around him or calling the game where I felt he was overwhelmed.
Especially being 19, that's insane.
And to be 19 and every night, the coaching staff is telling you, hey, go guard their best player, their best perimeter player, and good luck. And I can only count maybe 1 or 2 times where I thought, I was like, oh, whoa, boy, he's going to remember this night. And the other thing is just how poised he is. He doesn't really get down on himself, and he's not really highly emotional when he has great moments. Like, he's had a couple of dunks this year where I have to admit I've lost my mind because I'm like, wow, he really climbed the ladder on somebody and dunked, and he ran back on defense. I think that type of personality is going to benefit him because he just doesn't seem to be overwhelmed. And listen, over in France, and you guys are going to start seeing it. It happened this year, and in this year's draft, you're going to see it again. These French players are coming over here, and there's a lot of them. And they've been professional basketball players for a long time. So I don't see them being overwhelmed by being in the NBA and being like kind of in awe of it. Even the last time we were in New York, I asked Bilal, I was like, hey, man, this is pretty cool. You're playing in the Garden. He was like, yeah. He was still like, yeah, okay. He really didn't feel like most kids in our country would probably feel about playing in the world's most famous arena. So I just love the kid's makeup, and I know the scoring has been down, and, that can also be a byproduct of, listen, there's film on him now, and teams have seen him. The Knicks will see him for the third time tonight. Teams have seen him multiple times, and you can kind of game plan for him. But I'm a big fan of this kid, guys. I think he has tremendous upside, and I think on a really, really, really good team, he could be that glue guy that gets rebounds, assists, scores, defense, do really everything on the floor that you need.